let it go, move through, get over it. These are all ways that could mean that somebody wants you to process an emotion. So let's work through that together and break that down, what that means. Hi, I'm Kim Long, and I'm with Docha Psychological Services in Spruce Grove, Alberta. So admittedly, it's very dismissive to tell someone to get over it or let something go, and that's not quite what a therapist means when they say that we want you to process an emotion. When we say that we want you to process an emotion, we're actually trying to ask you to confront the emotion and not shove it away. And that's not always fun. Before we get into what processing an emotion means, it's really important to understand the function of an emotion. And the function of our emotions is to identify or express our needs and our goals. So if we're feeling a positive emotion, then that generally means that we're in a situation that says, yeah, you're heading on the right track, you are meeting your needs and goals. If you are experiencing a negative emotion, then generally you're in a situation that is signaling that there is a threat to you meeting your needs and goals. And we aren't always conscious about that. That's where our bodies and our emotional states really tell us a lot of information without our brain necessarily understanding it all. So it's really important that we are expressing our emotions or identifying what's going on, because we don't kind of want the soda can to happen. So basically, anytime we're in a situation where we aren't having our needs or our goals met and we aren't expressing the emotions that we feel because of that, this soda can starts to fill up and we start to shake it. And so eventually, if you keep shaking that soda can, things are going to explode and it's not going to be pretty, and it's usually at the worst time ever. We don't have control over what emotions we feel. We generally try to manage how we express them, but we don't control how strong they come up. So the more we're triggered, or the more we don't deal with the emotions that we are experiencing, the more shaken up your soda can gets. Our behavior is caused by what we feel and how those feelings shape our thinking, in my belief. And when that happens, we can sometimes end up with a lot of negative thoughts about ourselves and the world, and it makes a lot more triggers show up that don't necessarily need to be there. So it's really important that we're able to process our emotions in a timely fashion so that we can respond to and interact with our world in a really healthy way. So that's kind of the whole reason for it. But basically, in a nutshell, if we aren't expressing our negative emotion states, then we're creating situations where there's unfinished business. It feels unresolved to us, and so it lingers, and it creates a bigger chance of us being triggered in a larger way, because it's not just the new stuff that upsets us, it's the new stuff and the old stuff. So the goal of processing our emotions is to deal with unfinished business and resolve that. So as mentioned in another video, the very first step to being able to process an emotion is being able to sit with those uncomfortable emotions. And so therefore processing actually starts by identifying or being aware, about that we're even upset and what's going on in our bodies. So that awareness has to be paired with being able to stay with and accepting the emotion without judging whether or not it should be there, and without judging ourselves. So after that, the actual processing begins once we identify why the emotion is there. So the goal is to identify, what is it trying to tell you? Why am I feeling this? For example, in the last video, I had mentioned that I am often triggered when people will say, can I talk to you later? Without giving me any context about what they want to talk about. It's a very immediate emotional response for me. So as I identified last time, I have been in enough situations where people will say that and it ends up being something really negative, that that pairing has been made in my mind. So that's why I'm feeling the emotion. It doesn't mean that it's actually true, but that's why I'm feeling it. So other reasons why you might be feeling the emotion is old triggers, unmet needs, boundary violations, old behavior patterns, self-judgment, and honestly, any or all of the above being combined to the point where you kind of feel an overwhelming emotion. So once you identify why you're feeling the way you are and what it's trying to tell you, and you'll know generally whether or not you're on the right track, because you will have a felt sense of, yes, that just feels uncomfortable. So when you have that, you know that you're probably on the right track with pairing your reason why. Then you need to address the emotion. So what that means is that you're going to try to act in a healthy way on the information that it has given you in the other step. So for example, maybe you want to try to establish a boundary. You'll want to reframe it or meet the needs and values that weren't met. You want to try to express your thoughts and feelings, and sometimes you might even want to do the opposite of what you're feeling urged to do. So for example, if you're feeling urged to go and sleep and not interact with anybody, go out for a walk, get in touch with people. Now, you could do all of these steps and work through emotions and process them. The catch is when they've been built up so much over a really long period of time and you've just stuffed them, and you've gotten so used to numbing out that it gets difficult to access them or to make sense of them. Or sometimes they're just really layered and nebulous and it's really hard to sift through it all on your own. That's where therapists really come in. And it's our job to dig down and help you move through those emotions, so to stay with them in a way that feels safe and healing, but also create some understanding about why they're happening and how you can manage your life so that they don't take over your life. So it's our job to kind of get to the root of everything. So anyway, that is what processing an emotion means. And if you have any questions at all, please feel free to contact us through our website, www.dochaspsych.com. And if you liked this video and want more, please feel free to subscribe by hitting the button below. And yeah, I'm actually not going to give you a task. It's just some to think about, and stop being so hard on yourself. Feel your emotions. They aren't bad. They don't make you wackadoodle for feeling them. Okay, I'm gonna stop now. Anyway, thank you for tuning in, and as always, take care. Talk to you soon.